As far as it goes for Scott Frost, who knows what's going to happen? I assume, I'm almost 99% sure on this, he will be packing his bags and heading to the Nick Saban Rehabilitation Center. Once again, it's not some magical conspiracy theory. Losers lose, and Scott Frost is a loser. Let me start off this video by saying this. I didn't even know Nebraska and Scott Frost lost to Georgia Southern until late Saturday night. Technically, it was Sunday morning at about 2 a.m. I didn't even know, and to be honest, I just completely forgot about this game with everything else going on. However, with that being said, I was quickly reminded when all of you were texting me on Twitter, at me, blow me up on Instagram saying, yo, Matt, Nebraska lost to Georgia freaking Southern. Can I ask you guys a serious question? I am being dead serious. Was any of you actually shocked by this? Seriously, be honest. Like when we saw Notre Dame lose to Marshall and Texas A&M lost, yeah, we was all a little shocked, but I don't think anybody was shocked whatsoever by this. Now, yes, maybe you did expect Nebraska to win this game, but when they lost, you was like, I mean, it's Nebraska, what's new? I can't speak for you, I can only speak for myself, and I myself wasn't shocked a single bit. Most of you know your boy Matt if you watched the video I posted yesterday. My last video was a 26-minute apology video to Texas and Quinn Ewers. I've already been wrong a few times this year, and we're just getting started. However, even though I couldn't have been more wrong about the Texas and Alabama game, I couldn't have been more right about Scott Frost and Nebraska. I've called this since day one, and I made a video last year stating this, where all these Nebraska fans were saying, oh yeah, we went 3-9, Matt, but we're not a bad team, we're rebuilding. And what did I say to that? I think most of y'all remember, you're not rebuilding, you're just bad. There is a big difference from quote-unquote rebuilding and being a bad football team. Nebraska is a bad football team, and right now at this given point in time, they're a bad football program. And there's only one man who is responsible for this. He goes by the name of Scott Frost. We've got so much to talk about and go over. Here's your warning right now. I'm about to get fired up in this one. What I have to say about this, it needs to be said. It is the cold hard truth. No intro, no none of that. If you like college football, it's simple. We pump out content like it's nothing. I'm out here grinding. So if you do appreciate content like this and you want to join the family, it's free. You can always unsubscribe later. All right, Matt, blah, 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 blah. Shut the crap up. Now without further ado, let's get into it. Evil laugh, Matt in the building. 2 weeks ago. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. 2 weeks ago, I posted this.
Call me crazy, but I don't think Nebraska's good enough to just chalk up W's against North Dakota without even talking about the game. Same thing for Georgia Southern. I don't think Nebraska's going to lose these games. If I had to bet, I would say they would win them, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as many people think.
There it is. There's your proof. I said it. Why are we just going to chalk up this Georgia Southern game and this North Dakota State game like Nebraska's going to beat them, and we're not even going to act like it's going to be a competitive ball game? Remember, what was everybody talking about in the offseason? Oh, Nebraska, they're going to go 3-0, at worst case scenario 2-1 before they meet up with Oklahoma. And guess what? If I was betting on this, I would say no doubt about it, they're at minimum going to be 2-1 before that game. Nobody in their right mind was saying Nebraska was going to be 1-2 before the Oklahoma game. Nobody, not a single soul. Even me myself, who has claimed Nebraska sucks and they're a terrible team and Scott Frost is a straight up loser, I didn't even think that. I'm only laughing because it's sad. I don't even understand how Scott Frost even underwhelmed me, and I don't even believe in him. Like I was saying earlier, I didn't even find out that Nebraska lost to Georgia Southern until the game was over, so yesterday I watched all the game on the replay, or whatever you want to call it. I always record every single game if I do miss one here or there, and I watched it. And if you want me to be 100% honest with all you, I wish I didn't watch it because it's nothing new. It was the Nebraska we saw last year, the year before, and the year before that. Let me start off by saying something good. I thought the offense for Nebraska, they were good. I thought at times they were very great. I mean, heck, if you put up 42 points, you should win most games. I feel bad for the quarterback, Casey Thompson. I even thought in that Northwestern game he played okay. He didn't play great, but he played okay and good enough to win. Even in this game, 23 for 34, 300 yards, 1 TD, 0 INTs, QBR of 84. Really good ball game from him. Don't get me wrong, I didn't think he played like Michael Jordan in Game 6 type of good, but he was good enough to win. And that's what I'm saying. I don't feel bad for Scott Frost or Nebraska. I feel bad for these players. On the other side of the ball, and it's the reason Nebraska lost this game, the defense, they were atrocious. Here's a stat line for you. Georgia Southern, yes, Georgia Southern, not the University of Georgia, not Georgia Tech. Georgia Southern had 642 total yards of offense. 642 yards of total offense. Do y'all understand how many yards that is? That is almost dang near impossible to do in one game. To break that down even more, they had 409 passing yards and 233 rushing yards. Do I need to say anything? That simply can't happen. If you are curious, I'll show you the quarterback's numbers right here. 37 for 56. They threw the ball 56 times, had 400 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 INTs. Their quarterback played good outside those 2 picks, but look at the running backs. Here's what concerns me. 10 carries, 130 yards. That's 13 yards a carry. The guy after that, 17 carries, 85 yards. That's 5 yards a pop right there. It didn't matter what Georgia Southern wanted to do. Run the ball, pass the ball, do a trick play, whatever. They was doing it at will. They went into Nebraska's home field stadium and did whatever they wanted to. They pushed him around. The saddest part about this is Nebraska is 2 times more talented than Georgia Southern. And this is why Nebraska fans are pissed off, and I do feel bad for them. You have talent. No, you don't have the talent to beat an Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, USC, Clemson of the world, but you have enough talent to beat the Northwesterns and Georgia Southerns of the world, yet you lose. There's no reason Nebraska shouldn't be on the same level of a Iowa, a Wisconsin, or any team like that. What have I said? What have I preached? In life, it's fairly simple. You got winners and you got losers. Winners win, losers lose. It's not complicated, it's simple. To go along with that, what have I also said? Scott Frost is a loser. If you don't want to believe me or take my word for it, I have the greatest example of all time, and it happened Saturday. Have y'all noticed Alabama in the past 2 years? They're winning a bunch of games that they have no business winning. Look what happened last year. They shouldn't have beat Florida. They should have lost to Auburn. There was 3 or 4 games last year they should have lost. And well, what do you know? Saturday, the same exact thing. They should have lost to Texas, but somehow, some way they won. It's not a conspiracy theory or something magical. You know why that happens? Because winners win. Nick Saban and Alabama, that program right now, their DNA is winning. I think you know exactly where I'm about to go with this. On the flip side, for Nebraska, have you noticed in the past 4 years, Scott Frost has lost, like 20-something games by 1 score? Seriously, have y'all not noticed Nebraska has lost so many games they should have won or they was in until the last play? Once again, it's not some magical conspiracy theory. Losers lose, and Scott Frost is a loser. I don't know what more y'all want me to say. I can't dumb it down any more than that. If you don't believe me, I literally don't know what to say to you. I want y'all to understand this. If you don't listen to another single thing I say in this video, please listen to this. Nebraska isn't a bad football team because they're a bad football team. And I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. They're bad because the leader of this team is bad. Once again, let me repeat that. They're not a bad football team. The guy leading the football team is bad. A lot of people fail to realize in life, it doesn't matter if you have all the 5 stars in the world or whoever's on your team, it starts with the head coach. It starts with the leader of the ship, the captain. Because guess what? That mentality from your leader, that mentality from a Kirby Smart, a Ryan Day, a Nick Saban, it goes down to the other guys. It goes down to the kids, the players, the entire staff. It starts with the head coach. If you don't believe me, how about this? Do you think if Nick Saban left Alabama right now today for the next 15 years, they would dominate like they did the most recent 15 years? I don't think so. That's my point exactly. I could rant on that for the next 30 minutes. It's simple. Your head coach is a loser. Your team's going to be a loser. Your head coach is a winner. He's a great leader. Your team's going to be a winner. I apologize for that rant. Y'all know how I am. I do one of those every 2 weeks. Let's get down to business and look at some real facts and stats. Y'all know that's what we're about. We're not just going to say this or that and not back it up. When Scott Frost got there in 2018, in his first year going up, he went 4-8, 5-7, 3-5, 3-9, and most recently 1-2. Me personally, we can agree to disagree. I think you should give a head coach at minimum 3 years to prove himself. If he hasn't improved or he's not heading in the right direction in 3 years, okay, then fire him and move on. That's how I look at it. If I don't see improvement in 3 years, you gotta go. Well, not only has Scott Frost seen 3 years, he was there for 5 years, including this one. And in that 4th year last year, this is when I stated he's done, that program's gonna suck as long as he's the head coach. He went 3-9. Me personally, I don't understand what Nebraska fans, that entire program, needed to see more of. I don't understand why you didn't fire him then and there on the spot after going 3-9. Keep in the back of your mind, if you go 3-9 in your first year, I don't care, I get it, you're rebuilding. Even in your second year. But this was his 4th year with the team. And just like they say, if you want to play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Your stupid prize, Nebraska fans, in this entire program was letting Scott Frost come back and just completely blow up and ruin this season. And it's only been 2 weeks. I understand Nebraska played in week 0, but technically we're only in week 2 or heading into week 3. Here's where things get 10 times more interesting, at least in my humble opinion. I don't understand what Nebraska is thinking or doing doing right now. I don't agree with firing him right now because guess what? And I think a lot of you know this. If you fired him before October 1st, which they did, you had to pay him an extra $7.5 million. That was in his contract. If you would have waited until after October 1st, you would have only had to pay him $7.5 million. But if you fire him before October 1st, you got to pay him $15 million. I get it. If you had to wait until the end of the season, I probably would have fired him right now. But you're telling me you couldn't wait 3 more weeks? That doesn't make sense to me, and I don't care what anybody says. $7.5 million, that is a lot of money to anybody. In that program, Nebraska, it's not like they're bringing in a lot like an Alabama or a USC or anybody like that. I think this is kind of funny, and maybe this could be some dark conspiracy theory. Maybe Scott Frost, he did this on purpose so he could get paid $7.5 million more. I don't think that's the case because I think Scott Frost as a person, I think he's a good guy, but as a coach, heck to the no. It has been announced and stated that Mr. Mickey Joseph is the interim coach at Nebraska and he's going to replace Scott Frost. I have no idea who Mickey Joseph is, don't care. All I know is he can't do worse than Scott Frost. I don't care. There's no way, it's not even possible to do worse than Frost. And here's the thing for Nebraska fans, you're probably wondering, well, what's next moving forward? And I don't know, I really don't, but here's all I do know, it can't be much worse, can it? That's the beauty of this. You're at the lowest of lows. The only way from here is up. It can't get worse. Last but not least, before we end off this video, I want to address this ignorant comment from Mackenzie Milton on Twitter. He stated, wherever Scott Frost lands at university, we'll be lucky to have him. Bummed it didn't work out for him at Nebraska, but let's not be quick to forget what he did at Oregon and UCF. Best offensive minded coach I had the pleasure to learn from. 100 emoji. Mr. Mackenzie Milton, are you okay in the head? To say that wherever Scott Frost lands at university, we'll be lucky to have him, I think you've lost your mind. And I get it, you're just saying this for clicks and views, but I still think that's stupid to even say. And then he follows that up by responding to trolls in the comments by saying, 22 losses by 1 possession in his tenure, talent level is not comparable at all either. Here's all I gotta say about that. Shut up, Mackenzie Milton, you look dumb. Let's not forget what he did at UCF. Oh yeah, let's not forget about that cupcake conference and cupcake schedule he played. I said this years ago before I even had the YouTube channel and was talking about this stuff. When he got hired by Nebraska, I knew he was going to fail. Playing a schedule like UCF plays, which is a joke compared to Nebraska, you can't even compare it. As far as it goes for Scott Frost, who knows what's going to happen? I assume, I'm almost 99% sure on this, he will be packing his bags and heading to the Nick Saban Rehabilitation Center. We've seen this story before. He's going to go there, he's going to be an offensive analyst, and he'll get a new job somewhere in about 5 years. I am very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But Road to 1 million!